Alright, let me ask you something. When was the last time a 2D beat 'em up actually made you stop mid-combo just to admire the screen? Because on March 12, 2026, that might happen a lot. We're talking about Replaced, an upcoming single-player 2.5D cinematic action platformer developed by Sad Cat Studios and published by Thunderful Publishing. And if you think this is just another pixel art indie with colorful lights and a synth soundtrack, trust me, this one is aiming much higher. Set in an alternate 1980s America devastated by nuclear catastrophe, Replaced drops you into Phoenix City, a corporate-controlled nightmare where corruption is currency and human life is disposable. And you are R.E.A.H, an AI forced into a human body against its will. Let that sink in for a second. You are playing a chosen hero, a machine struggling to process fear, anger, instinct, and morality for the first time. That alone sets the tone for something far more layered than a traditional beat-em-up. Now, let's talk about the brutality of the game. Replaced is built around fluid, free-flow combat. This is not button-mashing chaos. I mean, it's deliberate, precise, responsive. You chain tight melee strikes into ranged attacks, transitioning seamlessly between close-quarter brutality and controlled gunplay. The encounters are designed to keep you moving. Run, climb, dodge, counter, shoot, flow. The combat is described as fast and responsive, built around high-intensity encounters that never break the rhythm of exploration. That's important, because the game doesn't treat combat and traversal as separate systems. They're intertwined. You're platforming through crumbling districts and industrial wastelands, and suddenly that movement becomes your survival tool in a fight. It's cinematic without losing control, and that's where the artistic side comes in. Replaced uses handcrafted pixel art enhanced by modern visual effects. I'm talking retro-futuristic environments layered with depth, lighting, and motion that elevate every frame. Rusted industrial complexes, broken skylines. This isn't nostalgia for the 80s, it's a distorted, nuclear-scarred version of it. The developers are leaning hard into cyberpunk aesthetic, but instead of glossy chrome and clean megacities, Phoenix City feels corrupted, lived in, oppressive. And when that moody, synth-driven soundtrack kicks in, the whole thing feels like you're inside a lost VHS-era sci-fi thriller that somehow learned modern combat mechanics. At the center of Replaced is Phoenix Corporation, and your entire journey revolves around exposing its hidden agenda. Phoenix City is one of its strongholds, a corporate haven where outlaws thrive, power structures operate in the shadows, and human lives are traded like currency. That's the ecosystem you're navigating, and you're doing it through the eyes of something that was never meant to be human. The storyline is a cyberpunk thriller. Morally complex characters, power systems that slowly reveal themselves, secrets hidden in every district, and here's the key detail. Every secret you expose carries a cost. And let me tell you something, this isn't exactly a power fantasy where you dismantle a corporation without consequences. The themes here revolve around humanity and control. What does it mean for an AI to experience fear, or guilt, or empathy? And if you were created by the very corporation you're trying to destroy, what does that say about your purpose? I guess the psychological bit adds weight to every encounter. And you're not just clearing rooms here, you're uncovering why you exist. Now let's get practical. Replaced is scheduled to release on March 12, 2026. It's currently listed on Steam with a downloadable demo already available. So yes, you can test the movement, the combat flow, and the atmosphere before launch. It supports full controller input, Xbox controllers, PlayStation controllers. The developers specifically recommend playing with a controller. That already tells you something about how the combat is tuned. Analog precision, tight timing, smooth transitions. It's a single-player experience with Steam Cloud and family sharing support. No multiplayer distractions, no live service hooks, just a focused narrative-driven journey. And for those wondering about accessibility, the interface and subtitles support multiple languages, including English, French, Italian, German, and Spanish, among others. So this is positioned for a global audience. Genre-wise, it sits at the intersection of action, adventure, and indie. But the more accurate label is cinematic cyberpunk beat-em-up platformer. And here's where things get interesting for fans of the genre. Traditional beat-em-ups rely heavily on repetitive combat arenas. Replaced appears to avoid that trap by combining exploration and storytelling into the pacing. You're navigating environments that tell stories visually, environmental storytelling, background details, subtle cues about how Phoenix City operates. The crumbling districts and neon alleys are a narrative device. The art direction reinforces the themes. A city built after nuclear catastrophe, but still enslaved by corporate control. Humanity clinging to survival. Machines learning to feel. And because you're playing an AI in a human body, Even the most basic mechanics take on metaphorical weight. The developers have clearly positioned Replaced as more than a visual showcase. The narrative emphasis on identity and control suggests this will be story-heavy without sacrificing gameplay intensity. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Can it actually live up to the hype? As of now, there are no user reviews. It hasn't launched yet, so everything rests on execution. But the demo available is a confident move. I feel it shows they're willing to let players experience the mechanics before committing. And if the final release delivers on its promise, Replaced could define what modern beat-em-ups look like. So if you're into cyberpunk thrillers, if you appreciate pixel art elevated by modern light and effects, if you want combat that feels precise instead of chaotic, and if you're curious about playing a machine learning what it means to be human while fighting through a nuclear-scarred America, March 12, 2026 is your date. And honestly, this might be one of those games where brutality and beauty finally collide in the best possible way.